Lennox Lewis is 59 years old now. The last emperor, undisputed heavyweight champion, Olympic gold, 1988, unified all the belts, beat Mike Tyson, beat Evander Holyfield twice, beat Vitaly Klitschko, 41 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and I avenged both losses. Knocked out Oliver McCall, knocked out Hasim Rahman, retired 2004 undefeated after my comeback. The last undisputed heavyweight champion. But I'm going to tell you something people don't want to hear. I was scared. 6 times in my career, I was genuinely scared. Really scared. Not nervous. Scared. And people think that's weakness. It's not. Fear is intelligence. Fear is recognizing danger. Real danger. 6 fighters who made me think twice, made me strategize differently. Some I avoided. Some I faced. But all 6 scared me. This is Lennox Lewis's confession. The 6 boxers I was scared to fight. Number 6, David Tua. David Tua is my number 6. The Samoan warrior, 5'10", 245 pounds of muscle. And David hit like a truck. Left hook from hell. Knocked out 27 men. And David was coming for me. Late 1990s. Mandatory challenger. And I watched David's fights. And I saw something that terrified me. David's power was different. One punch could end everything. My career. My legacy. And David was short. Compact. Hard to hit clean. Pressure fighter. Get inside. Body shots. Then boom. Left hook. Lights out. And I knew my weakness. My chin. Oliver McCall knocked me out 1994. Second round. Stiff. And that haunted me. Because David hit harder than McCall. Much harder. And if David caught me, I'm done. Career over. And the fight kept getting delayed. Negotiations. Money issues. And honestly, I wasn't pushing for it. Because David scared me. And then 2000. We finally fought. November 11th. Las Vegas. And I trained differently. Kept distance. Used my jab, my reach. Didn't let David inside. And I won. Unanimous decision. But it wasn't easy. And after the fight, I felt relief. Real relief. Because David was dangerous. One mistake, and I lose everything. That's David Tua, my number 6. The compact puncher who made me fight smart. Number 5, Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe is my number 5. Big Daddy. And this one I avoided. Really avoided. 1992, I was WBC champion. Riddick was mandatory challenger. Undisputed champion. Beat Evander Holyfield. And the WBC ordered the fight. Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe. And I didn't want it. Really didn't. Because Riddick was huge. 6'5". 240 pounds, athletic, fast for his size, good chin. And Riddick had skills. Real skills. Combinations. Power. Movement. And Riddick was in his prime. Peak. Undefeated. And I wasn't ready. Not for Riddick. So I vacated. Gave up the WBC belt. Walked away. And people criticized me. Called me scared. And they were right. I was scared. Because fighting Riddick in 1992 was suicide. Career suicide. That's Riddick Bowe. My number 5. The fight I avoided by giving up my belt. Number 4, Ike Ibeabuchi. Ike Ibeabuchi is my number 4. The President. Nigerian heavyweight. 6'2", 230 pounds. And Ike was special. Really special. Undefeated. 20 wins, 20 knockouts. Perfect record. And Ike had everything. Speed, power, pressure, combinations, ruthless, mental toughness. And I watched Ike destroy David Tua. June 7th, 1997, Sacramento. And Ike didn't just beat Tua. Ike demolished Tua. Brutalized Tua. 12 rounds of punishment. And David Tua was the guy who scared me. And Ike made Tua look helpless. Really helpless. And I thought, if Ike did that to Tua, what would Ike do to me? And the answer terrified me. Because Ike was young, hungry, fearless, peak physical condition. And Ike was coming. really coming. Late 1990s. Ike was ranked, moving up fast, and everyone talked about it. Lennox versus Ike, the future of the division. And I didn't want it. Really didn't want it. Because Ike was dangerous. More dangerous than anyone I'd seen. And then, 1999, Ike went to prison. Assault charges, mental health issues, gone, career over. And I felt relief. Real relief. Not happiness, relief. Because I didn't have to face Ike. Didn't have to test myself against that level of danger. And people say I'm lucky. And maybe they're right. Because Ike Ibeabuchi might have beaten me. Really beaten me. That's Ike Ibeabuchi. My number 4. The destroyer I never had to face, and I'm grateful for that. Number 3, George Foreman. Prime George Foreman. George Foreman is my number 3. Not the comeback George. Not the George I could have fought in the 1990s. Prime George. 1970s George. Big George. The puncher. And this is hypothetical, because George retired before I turned pro. But I studied George, every fight, every knockout, and George terrified me. Really terrified me. Because George's power was inhuman. One punch. That's all George needed. Joe Frazier. 2 rounds, 6 knockdowns. Ken Norton. 2 rounds. Knockout. Ron Lyle. War. George survived. Knocked Lyle out. And I watched those fights, and I thought, could I survive George? Could I take George's power? And the answer was no. Because my chin. My vulnerable chin. Oliver McCall. Hasim Rahman. Both caught me. Both knocked me out cold. And George hit harder than both. Much harder. And George was relentless. Came forward. Pressured. Broke you down. Systematic destruction. And my style was technical. Jab. Distance. Movement. But against George's power, technique might not be enough. One mistake, one slip, one George Foreman right hand. And I'm unconscious. Career over. Legacy destroyed. And I'm grateful I never had to face prime George Foreman. Really grateful. Because that's a fight I might not survive. Might not even last 5 rounds. That's George Foreman. My number 3. The hypothetical nightmare. The puncher from hell I'm glad I never faced. Number 2, Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston is my number 2. The Bear, heavyweight champion 1962 to 1964. Another hypothetical, because Sonny was before my time. But I studied Sonny. And Sonny scared me more than anyone from that era. Not because of skills, because of presence, pure intimidation. Sonny had this aura, this darkness, that stare, that dead stare, no emotion, just violence. And Sonny was massive, 6'1", 218 pounds, 84-inch reach, longest in heavyweight history. And Sonny used that reach. Jab, then power, and Sonny destroyed Floyd Patterson. First round, twice. Made Patterson terrified. And I watched those fights. And I thought, could I handle Sonny's intimidation? Could I face that stare? Honestly, I don't know. Because Sonny broke fighters mentally before the first punch. And my chin against Sonny's power. That's dangerous. I'm grateful I never faced Sonny Liston. That's Sonny Liston. My number 2. The Intimidator from Hell. Number 1, Mike Tyson. Prime Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is my number 1. Not the Mike I fought in 2002. That Mike was old, damaged, done. I beat that Mike. Knocked him out 8th round. But prime Mike, 1986 to 1988, Mike. That's different. Really different. That Mike terrified me. Because prime Mike was unstoppable. Speed, power, combinations, peekaboo style, head movement. Mike got inside, always inside. And once Mike got inside, it was over. Mike destroyed everyone. Michael Spinks, 91 seconds. Larry Holmes, 4 rounds. Trevor Berbick, 2 rounds. And I watched those fights, over and over. And I thought, how do you beat Prime Mike Tyson? And I didn't have an answer. Because Mike's style was my nightmare: pressure, inside fighting, power, and my weakness, my chin. Mike hit harder than anyone, faster than anyone. And Mike was fearless, walked through punches, kept coming. And if I fought Prime Mike, 1987 Mike, I lose. Really lose. Maybe get knocked out, destroyed. Because that Mike was special, different level, superhuman. And I'm grateful by the time we fought, Mike was old, beatable. Because Prime Mike Tyson might have ended my career. That's Mike Tyson, my number one, the destroyer. I'm grateful I never faced in his prime. These 6 fighters taught me something important. David Tua taught me respect power. Riddick Bowe taught me strategic retreat isn't cowardice. Ike Ibeabuchi taught me sometimes luck matters. George Foreman taught me some eras produce monsters. Sonny Liston taught me intimidation is real. And Mike Tyson. Prime Mike taught me timing is everything, and fear. Fear isn't weakness. Fear is intelligence. Fear kept me sharp, kept me strategic, kept me alive. I retired undefeated after my comeback, avenged my losses, beat everyone I faced. Because I was smart. I recognized danger. I respected power. And sometimes I avoided what I couldn't beat. That's not cowardice. That's intelligence. That's survival. That's why I'm still here at 59, still healthy, still sharp. Because I understood fear, and I used it. That's Lennox Lewis, the last emperor, the smart champion.